everybody, welcome back to the channel. What is today? Today is Saturday, October 7th. Yeah, October 7th. It is the afternoon. It is cloudy here in Tampa Bay. It looks like it's going to rain, which I'm super excited about. I love nothing more than a rainy day with a cup of tea and some knitting or some crochet, cross stitch, a book, and I'm in hog heaven. Day made. So we'll see. It's overcast and cloudy now, and my mom lives in North Florida, and she said that it's very overcast there as well. So normally she'll get the rain first, and then it comes down across the state. So fingers crossed, we get some rain. We'll see. If you are new to the channel, hi, hello, welcome. My name is Tiffany. It's awesome to meet you. And if you are a returning subscriber or a viewer, hi, hello, how are you? I hope you guys are doing awesome. Thank you so much for coming back. In today's video, I thought we would go over 10 free patterns for things that you can do with one skein of fingering weight yarn. As some of you know, I did a video where I actually took the time to count all of the balls of fingering weight yarn that I had, and I thought I had maybe had 50 or so, and I had 137 balls, and Jay said that I actually missed a little bit in the count for the video. He said it was closer to 141 or something. But needless to say, after that, I color organized a lot of the yarn, the pinks, the blues, the purples, the greens, and I put them in different places in my office. The last video I did, at the end of it, I showed some footage briefly, and that's also where everybody got to meet Walter. So if you want to see that, I will put a link hopefully up here for that video. But anyway, it got me to thinking, okay, well, I've got 137 balls of yarn. What can I do with them? What can I make with them to, start to work through that stash? And if you're new here and you haven't seen that video, then quick catch up. I didn't buy 137 skeins of yarn. My mom destashed into my stash. And her stash she had been collecting for years, and she just can't use fingering weight yarn anymore. So it came to me. So now I have all of this fingering weight yarn. And a couple of weeks ago, she said that she actually has more bins that she found, and so she needs to go through it again. So I guess I have more yarn coming my way. So yeah, okay. So what I did was I went through Ravelry and I looked for free patterns. I tried to find some for men, I tried to find some for women, I tried to do a mix. I'm going to do this one, which will be for free patterns. Then I'm going to do another one, which is going to be for paid for patterns. And then I want to do one for things that you can knit or crochet for the men in your life. Because I noticed that there weren't a lot of options that weren't socks. That's the caveat to this video. They're not socks. Fingering weight yarn and socks, they go hand in hand, but there's so many other things that we can make with them. So with that said, let's get right into the patterns, and I will show you pattern number one. All right, so pattern number one is going to be the Fantastic Fingerless Mitts, and it is by the Stash Lounge. This is a free pattern, of course. They are knit on size 1.5 needles. One size fits most adults, it says. And if you click on the link at the bottom of I have notes. You guys know me and notes. If I don't have notes, there'll be a lot of I don't remember. So notes. If you scroll down in the Ravelry listing under the details tab, you'll actually find the link that will take you to their blog for this particular pattern. So it says that they can be done on either, no, it doesn't say. I made notes. It said, I chose this pattern because these are something that can be made on either the 9-inch circular, or you can do them magic loop, or you could do them DPNs, whatever your preference is. Me personally, I would probably use the 9-inch circulars because that's what I use for my socks, and for me it's easier. When I do things magic loop, I always end up with the ladder. like right now, I'm knitting a hat for Jay and for Nini for them to each wear to New York. And I'm so thankful that they each chose a pattern that is ribbing instead of having flat knitting, because otherwise I'd have that funky ladder up the side. I've tried so many different ways to not get that ladder, but alas, I have a ladder. Anyway, so I thought that this would be great because you can use, like I said, magic loop, 9-inch circulars, or you can do DPNs. And this would be a great way for you to show off one of those really beautiful skeins of yarn that you don't want to put on your feet and you don't want to put it on your head because you're really not going to get to see it. But if you knit yourself fingerless mitts or you knit mitts for somebody else, it's on your hands. You see your hands. So you'd actually get to enjoy that beautiful skein of yarn. So that was my logic behind pattern number 1. Again, fantastic fingerless mitts by the Stash Lounge. All right. Pattern number 2. I absolutely love these. These are the Red Velvet Cupcake Arm Warmers, and they are by Star Athena. And it says that they are published in the Keep on Knitting in the Free World. This is a free pattern. It takes 1 skein of fingering weight yarn. They are knit on size 1 or 2.25 millimeter needles, and they come in 2 sizes, small and large. And the reason that I chose these was not everybody wants to use make the thumb on their mitts. Some people, they just want to be able to just knit and keep on going, and they do one of these numbers. Also, these are great for like if you work in an office and it's chilly, you can always just put these on. I thought that the detailing on these, and here's a close-up image of the detailing that I was able to find. I thought that this was just so sweet. It has a little bit of texture knitting, which is popular right now for this season, and it has this slightly little romantic ruffle. And I thought that it would just be a nice way to add something special to your day or your outfit or somebody else's day if you chose to gift knit, because as the saying goes, winter is coming, we must knit faster. Yeah, I just thought that these were an incredibly romantic piece. I think that this is a very beginner-friendly pattern. I did read it from beginning to end. There is nothing incredibly difficult about it. And I can just totally like see these peeking out of like the sleeve of your coat and just having that little bit going on there. Let me see, what else did I say in my notes? Very beginner friendly with just enough detail to keep a more advanced knitter interested. So with this pattern, you start with the detail work first. So you start with the ruffle, then you do the band detailing, and then from that, it's just straight knitting for the arm portion for however long you're going to do it. And then you move on to the ribbing at the end. So they're knit from wrist to arm instead of normally, how arm warmers or fingerless mitts, you start with the ribbing for the arm and you work down towards the hand. These are knit in the opposite direction. So I thought that was neat too, because you get to deal with the busy bit first, and then you've just got mindless knitting after that. So chances are you're probably ready for some mindless knitting. So that was pattern number 2. And I love these so much. Pattern number 3, I have chosen the Mont Royal Hat, and it is by Knit Shep. That's all it says. It is made with 1 skein of fingering weight yarn. It is knit on size 1.5 and size 2.5 needles, so not super teeny tiny microscopic needles, which is always a plus. It is knit in 1 size, and I chose this one because it's got nice texture and detail going on. It's not going to be something that's going to keep you bored, but it's not going to be something that you're going to be like, oh my goodness, this is so overwhelming. I think that the combination of the crisscross up the side panel with the I don't know if that's garter or reverse stockinette, but either way, I think just the combination together is really, really nice. And I think that this hat could actually be pulled off as a unisex hat, just in my opinion. Do with that what you will, but in my opinion. I would say that this one would be good for an intermediate to advanced knitter. I do not think that this one would necessarily be beginner friendly unless you're, just ready for a hit the ground running challenge. If you've never done cables before, I think this might be a bit much for a beginner, but intermediate to advanced, I think this one is great. It's spot on. It's got just enough detail and class to it that I think it would also make a really good gift for somebody, as well as somebody, just for yourself. Because, come on, let's be real. We knit a lot for ourselves. Pattern number 4 is the Reversible Rib Cap, and it is by Prita Hitlunen. I'm sorry, I think that's right, hopefully. Otherwise known as the Distant Knitter. And this hat I am actually making now for Jay, because this is the hat that he wants to wear in New York. And in our weekly update video, I'll show you how I'm getting on with it. I'm still like, it's a 3x2 rib. And you cast on either 160 stitches or you cast on 172, if I remember correctly. You use a fingering or a light fingering weight yarn. You use a size 0 or a size 1 needle, depending on the weight of the yarn that you're going to use. There is a caveat in the pattern, and she tells you that if you cast on with 172 stitches, your ribbing will not be even. So if you're particular about that, then to cast on the 160. I'm particular about that. So I cast on the 160, and I am using the size 0 needle because I wanted it to be like a really warm hat. I didn't want Jay's head to be cold, because he cut off all of his hair the other day again. So I don't want him to be cold. So yeah, so size 0 needles, 160 stitches. And I thought that the ribbing detail for the decreases for this one was just really, really cool. It wasn't, your standard, just get it to the point and carry on, or the 4 so that you've got the star. This one kind of looks like they're sort of crossing and interchangeable all at the same time. And the hat is reversible, so it has a slightly different design on the others on the inside, because of the way that the decreases work. This one I am knitting on magic loop, which is why I was like, okay, ribbing, not a problem. I can do that on magic loop and not have a ladder. So this is the one that I am currently knitting for Jay, and definitely recommend it. Let me see what else. I think that's it. That's all I had to say about this one. In a lot of the pictures, men are wearing the hat. In some of the pictures, women are wearing the hat. She does say that this hat will stretch to fit 40 to 70 centimeters, so it's going to fit a kid as well as fitting an adult. I'll let you know if it fits an adult male when it's finished. That's like the only thing I'm worried about is 160 stitches, the size 0 needles, fingering weight yarn. Is the hat going to stretch enough to fit his head? But I'm figuring that since it's ribbing, we'll be okay. But either way, pattern number 4, the Reversible Rib Hat, free pattern. Working it now, definitely recommend. Halfway there, pattern number 5 is called the Step Right Up Wrap. And this is done by Darn Knit Anyway, and it is Carol DJ is what it says. And I think that this one is really, really cool. In the pattern, in the premiere pictures, she has used like a gradient, and she went from like reds to blues, and it's really cool. But I figured if you had a skein of yarn that was like a nice tonal maybe, or if you had maybe some of the 20-gram minis or the 10-gram minis that you needed to use, this might be a good way to go. It is knit straight back and forth. It is knit on US size 4 needles with fingering weight, which means you're not going to need a lot of blocking except to get the tips out at the end. But other than that, I really don't think you're going to have to do a lot of blocking. You're going to naturally have a good drape. I think that this would be a good pattern for an adventurous knitter, an adventurous beginner knitter, because it has got this center decrease option. So it'll be something new to learn if you haven't learned it already. So I definitely think that this would be a good pattern for you guys to try. It is a 2-row repeat, so it's not like there's a lot to memorize or you're gonna have to take a bunch of papers with you. Just 2-row repeat, keep going, and you're good. The other cool thing about this particular pattern is it's written as both a knit pattern and a crochet pattern. So if you are looking again for some way to work your way through one skein of fingering weight yarn, but you don't necessarily want to knit, or you want to be able to knit one and crochet one because you've got 2 different people that you might want to gift to, this could be a way to go. And then, crochet always tends to go a bit faster than knitting. So one might give you a little bit more instant gratification than the other. So that was a cool thing about that pattern, is that it comes both as a knit and a crochet, and some of the ones that were created are really, really pretty. And I know that I had tried the crochet one a couple of years ago, and I think it was during the pandemic, and I couldn't do it at the time. I think I ended up moving into a knit along or something else. So I definitely want to give this another go round because I do have some speckled yarn. It's one that's in like a pink with some cranberry or raspberry speckles. If I remember, I'll put a picture of it right here. But I think that this yarn would be really, really pretty in this particular pattern. So yeah, number 5, step right up, knit wrap, also offered as a crochet pattern as well. Both are free. What's not to love? Next up, pattern number 6 is going to be, time to switch to the next set of notes. It is going to be the very basic Dancing at Lufthansa gloves. That's a mouthful. They are made by Anne Carroll Gilmore, also known as the Wild West Woolies. It is a free pattern. It uses 1 skein of fingering weight yarn. They are knit on size 2, the 2.75 millimeter knitting needles. I have to scooch forward just a little. And it says that it will knit like an adult medium size pattern. So it doesn't offer like a lot of diversity in terms of sizes. It says that the features for these ones are they're bottom up, they have a gusset, they're in the round, they do not have any ease, they're knit in one piece, and they're a unisex pattern. So I thought that that was a plus as well. I did look over this pattern, and if you are a knitter that wants to learn how to make gloves for the first time, this pattern is really good because they did go step by step by step. They actually took the time to say, okay, for the left thumb, you're going to do these things, and for the right thumb, you're going to do these things. For your pointer finger, your index, your pinky. Like, they broke it all down for you, which I thought was really, really cool. You will need a set of DPNs when you go to do the fingertips for these particular ones. So do keep that in mind because you're really getting to just a few stitches. I did notice that in some of the comments or the notes of other projects, some people chose to do other ways. Like one person chose to use the crochet hook and do the crochet hook up method to get to just a few stitches, and then just ran the yarn through on a darning needle and pulled it. So that was one option. Some people, like this one right here where they did the embroidery on them, they just did little fingers. They didn't do the actual tips of the fingers. So you do have that as an option as well if you don't want to brave it. I really want to make a pair of gloves, but one of the biggest things that I'm worried about is suppose I don't make the fingers long enough for the person that I would want to make the gloves for, because I'm a mitten person. I'm not a glove person. But my daughter would be more of one of my daughters would be more of a glove person, but I'm like, and I want to make them to surprise her, but I'm so worried that I won't make the fingers long enough and then it'll all be for naught. So yeah, but I think that this would definitely be a great pattern for somebody that wants to learn how to make your individual fingers. And if you decide after halfway that you're like, yeah, okay, this was cool, but I'm not trying to go all the way to the fingertip method, you can just stop, bind off, and, stretchy bind off, mind you, and just do half fingers, which would be good if you've got like, maybe if you wanted to make them for teenagers or college kids because, they're texting a lot. These would also be good for somebody that works in an office who their hands are always cold. I know that for me, my hand that's on the mouse in the wintertime is always really cold. So I tend to use like arm warmers. I'll use an arm warmer on my left hand because that tends to be the one that's always on the mouse. So this might be an idea. This might be something that I might try and see how I get on with trying to make the actual fingertip pieces. And I think this kind of would actually get you one closer if you were inclined to actually try to make the socks that have the individual toes. I think those look so weird, but I think it would be something fun to make just once, just to say that I've done it, and it definitely would be a different kind of sock. Let's be real. It would be different. Pattern number 6 is, again, the very basic Dancing at Lufthansa gloves, and beginner friendly, 1 skein of yarn, free pattern. What's not to love? Pattern number 7 is going to be the Stony Point Cowl. And I chose this one because I thought that it would be a neat way to use up a skein of fingering weight yarn and then also be able to knock out a mini as well. This one is made by Carolyn Glaus Todrank. Yeah, we'll go with that. It is knit with fingering weight yarn on US size 6 4mm needles. It does say that the yardage is a full 400 yards, so it's going to pretty much knock out definitely the whole skein. You're not going to have a whole lot left over. I chose this one because it is a great beginner lace pattern. You're pretty much going to do, it's an 8-row repeat, but only 1 eyelet row. So you're pretty much doing your garter, and then you've got a row of eyelets, and then you've got more garter, and then a row of eyelets, and then more garter, and so it goes. So kind of a good mindless knitting one. I did think that, like I said, this one would be great for you if you had a skein of one of your 20-gram minis that you wanted to use up. Like in my head, I think that this would be really cool if it was done like in a white or in a black, and then you used like a hot pink. I'm looking over here and I have my basket full of all of my hedgehog fibers 20-gram minis, and I'm like, the possibilities are endless. Like a brown one with the neon or olivey color green for the outside row, because the outside, if you notice, they're picots. It's a picot bind off. You knit it in the round, you cast on all of your stitches. I think it was, I didn't write down how many you cast on. I feel like I read it. I know that I read it, but I didn't write down. Yeah, I know that you need a 32-inch circular needle to cast on the number of stitches. You just knit in the round and then you bind off with a picot bind off. So hence do the brown with a green for the picot bind off, or a white with a bright pink. You could even knit it green and solid, and then use a skein of red if you have a skinny single of the red, and make it like Christmassy, or the other way around, a red one with the green, or for Hanukkah. Oh, I have a really pretty blue speckly, and I have a silver, and it's literally a Hanukkah colorway, and that would work for this. Oh, maybe I'll make a Hanukkah themed one. That would be nice. That would be cool. Yeah, I think I might do that. I was originally thinking I might make the socks, the blue socks that have the white snowflakes in them, the Nordic snowflake motif, but now I'm thinking I might make this and then it'll be like Hanukkah themed, and that would be different. Yeah. Huh. See, that's how my mind works. Anyway, so Stony Point cowl, beginner friendly, size 6 needles, not a lot of blocking. Learn a new skill with the picot bind off, as well as the eyelet lace if that's not something that you've learned yet. So very beginner friendly for an intermediate to an advanced knitter. It'll be some mindless knitting, and this would also make a great gift. It looks like it wraps around. It looks like it wraps around on the person twice and sits nicely on the chest, so you'll definitely keep your chest warm. It's not going to be a stiff knit, so it's not going to sit up. It's going to be more of a floppy knit. It's going to have good drape. There we go. It sounds so much better. Pattern number 8. We're almost there. Number 8, I chose the Slouchy Fall Leg Warmers. By Marjolaine Maya. There we go. I got it on the first try. And I thought that these would be great because, well, why not? They're leg warmers. Especially like nowadays, in the wintertime or in the fall, we all tend to throw on our leggings and a shirt, a sweatshirt or, what have you, and off we go. But, your ankles or your legs get chilly, especially like if you're in the office. Even with me, I work from home, but I like to keep a window open a little bit, even in the winter time. That's right, I'll have the heat on and a window open. But in the warm weather, I set the thermostat to 80 and I won't turn the AC on. But in the winter time, I turn on the heat and I open the window. So that of course causes a breeze, and so I get that draft that comes underneath my chair. So I think that the leg warmers would be great as a way to keep my ankles warm. Let's see, this is a free pattern, fingering weight yarn, knit on US size 3 or 3.25 millimeter needles. It says it uses between 440 and 460 yards to make the pair. So this is something that I would definitely weigh the yarn, wind your ball until they're the same size, and then knit them. That way you don't run out of yarn and you're definitely going to get them the exact same way. As long as every 10 rows, put the stitch marker so you can keep track. That's what I would recommend. But these will be great because you can make them for the kids. You can make them, well, not small kids because this is the adult pattern, so it's the one size. But they're great for like your teenagers, your young adults. I'm thinking I'm gonna make a pair for my mom. Because sometimes she just likes to wander around barefoot. Two of my 3 girls prefer to wander around barefoot, and this might be a way that I can still kind of keep them warm when they won't wear their socks. So again, these will be a great gift idea. I think they would be a cute stocking stuffer even. You can make them red, you can make them green. The color possibilities are absolutely endless. Super, super, super beginner friendly because you're just doing some ribbing and then you've got your flat knitting and more ribbing and you're done. I think the pattern does have some decreases in it. You start out with like a bigger and then you knit and you decrease down so that you've got not quite so much fabric going on down at the ankle section, and then you don't have to worry about them slipping off either. But anyway, I think that these would be great for mindless knitting. I can just kind of picture knitting the leg warmers while you are sitting at the airport on your way to your family Thanksgiving visit or family road trip and you're in the passenger seat. Definitely don't knit when you're driving, but you can knit in the passenger seat while you're driving to your family destination for Thanksgiving, or you're driving home for that matter. I know that like Jay and I are planning on driving up to Georgia to get some pecans one weekend in November, and I think that this would actually be a good project to knit on because it's mindless. I don't have to pay attention. I still feel like I accomplished something while looking at the window at the scenery. So I think that these would definitely be another good option. Again, Slouchy Fall Leg Warmers by Marjolaine Maya. Beginner friendly, knock out a whole skein of yarn, knit on size 3 needles, so not super tiny. So there you go. Pattern number 9 is a pattern for the men in our lives. And I noticed when I was in Ravelry that I didn't find a lot of free fingering weight patterns for men. It was slim pickings, let me tell you. I chose this because it wasn't your regular knitting. So I chose the Newfield Tie by Nadine Dransfield, and it is a men's knit necktie. It is done in the linen stitch, which I thought would be a nice change from all of that mindless knitting. You know, we get some texture. If you have never knit the linen stitch, this would definitely be a great way to do it, because you are going to be pretty much doing an entire accessory in that one stitch. So by the end, you're definitely going to have it down. It is knit with fingering weight yarn. It's US size 3, 3.25 millimeter needles, and you will need between 383 and 459 yards. And the reason that the yardage varies is because in the pattern, she specifically tells you if you're making it for a person that is this height, this is how long you want your tie to be. This height, this is how long you want your tie to be, which I thought was really thoughtful that she took the time to actually tell you. So it's not like a one size fits all, because like one of my daughters was like, oh, I really like that. Could you make me one for Halloween? And I'm like, oh, I can't get a whole linen stitch tie done by Halloween. It's not happening. But she's 5'5". So obviously a one size fits all men's tie would not work for her, but it would definitely fit Jay because he's like 6'2". So the fact that they actually gave it to you in different sizes for different heights, I thought was really, really helpful as well. And I think, again, good gift idea for the man in your life. I think if I knit one for Jay, he might actually use it. I also thought that this would be a great way if you've got like one skein of linen yarn or one skein of cotton. It doesn't necessarily have to be a superwash merino that you use in this instance. Like I know a lot of the Expression Fiber Arts yarn, they have that nice sheen to them, you know, that like a necktie that you would buy in the store has. So I thought that one of those would actually be really nice to use to make a tie, I'm thinking, for Jay, which means now I can't make it as a gift because he's going to edit this video and he's going to be like, oh, I'm getting a tie. Surprise. But anyway, so I'm thinking that that's also an option. You know, start to think outside of the box when you're going through your fingering weight yarn, trying to decide what can I use to make X, Y, Z. In this instance, find a nice yarn that's got a bit of silk in it or something like that, and then you can make the tie, because it's going to be taken care of a lot differently or better and probably not worn as often as if you made a hat or a pair of socks or something like that out of a yarn that's got silk in it. So again, Newfield tie. What else can I say? Last but not least, this pattern is not for the faint-hearted. This is a pattern for the adventurous knitter. It's definitely more of an intermediate to advanced pattern. And it is for the Glacier mitts. And this pattern is by Julia Meyer. And these gloves are just, they're stunning. They're beautiful. Like when I saw them, I was like, oh my gosh, and this is a free pattern. Get out. I totally need to make these. This I think might maybe push me to the point where I'm willing to do the fingertips. But with that said, check out this version of them. These green ones do not have any fingers. They're fingerless and they still have all of those added details. So I'm thinking, yeah, these need to be happening. They have a lot of detail in them. They've got the cables, they've got your garter, they've got regular knit stitch, they've got picot on the cuff. So they just have a lot of nice little detailing bits to them. This is the cable is on the back as well as on the inside of the hand up to a certain point. So it's definitely a pattern that you're going to have to pay attention to. It's definitely not mindless knitting, but I think would totally totally be worth it. These are knit on US size 1, 2.25 millimeter needles. It says that you need 383 yards to make one pair. They do come in 3 sizes, small, medium, and large, which I thought was fantastic because then that means you might be able to make a pair. You could do like a mommy and me pair. I think that that would be so sweet. Yeah. Okay. Rabbit hole. Come back. So anyway, I thought that these would be a really good one to add for somebody that's more advanced or adventurous or is up for a challenge, because this is definitely a challenge. And the detailing is, I'll put some close-ups here as well so you can get some close-ups of what the detailing really looks like. And again, these green ones, I'm in love with these green ones and the way that they came out. So not that I need another project, but maybe it's time to switch from socks to arm warmers and fingerless mitts. I do have 3 empty sock needles, and I could maybe do these on 9-inch circulars. It's a possibility. Anyway, we'll have to see. Now that we've been through our 10 patterns and we have thought about some gift knitting and we have covered hats and cowls and gloves and leg warmers, I thought I would pick one pattern as a bonus pattern to kind of nudge us, closely, but not too much, towards Christmas. So I chose this free pattern, and these are the Christmas coasters. And I thought this would be a great way to knock out some of those 10 and 20 gram minis that you've got laying around. The pattern is by, let's see, it says Panka's Patterns. It's a pattern from 2017, so it's a pretty old pattern. It is free. It comes in 2 languages, English and Hungarian, which I mention that because, normally you see the patterns translated into a lot of different languages, but Hungarian's not normally one of them. So that kind of tickled me a little bit. These are double knit, so if it's red and white on one side, it's white and red on the other side. And I thought, again, that it would just be a neat way to kind of nudge us towards the holiday season, use up some of those 10 and 20 gram minis that we have. If you've never done double knitting before, this is a small way to learn how to do it with 2 colors. And yeah, enough said. I love these. They're super cute. These would make a good Christmas gift for somebody, like a co-worker. This might, provided they're knit worthy, this would be a good idea. I think I might knit some for my boss, Heidi. Normally I knit her socks, but I think I might make these for her this year. Because they're so cute. I think depending on the size of them, because they've got that little loop on them, they might even actually work as something that you could do as a garland, maybe. That would be cute, a garland over the fireplace, over your mantle, or over a doorway. Yeah, see, another rabbit hole. Okay, I'm coming back. With that said, those are 10 patterns plus a bonus of things that you can do with 1 skein of fingering weight yarn that are all free patterns that do not involve socks. That was a mission, let me tell you guys. I think I had, it was 583 pages in Ravelry is what I came up with, and I went through the first 106 pages. And then after that, I was like, let's just see what we have so far and we'll run with that. Because, yeah, 583 pages was a lot. But I hope that you found some inspiration in these patterns. If you guys have some other ideas, put them down below in the chat. Share with all of us because, like I said, winter is coming. We need to start thinking about Christmas gifts for people. And who doesn't love a free pattern? Yeah. So I hope that you guys are inspired to create some new things. I hope that you found this video helpful and enjoyable and that you had a good time. Please comment, like, subscribe, share, send smoke signals, send messages and carrier pigeons. But yeah, whatever works. And with that said, I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.